At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Mike Krueger. You're watching Coffee with Krueger every weekday morning at 7 a.m. We've got a dense fog advisory this morning for parts of the Humboldt County coast. It does work its way inland into parts of Highway 299 and even 101. This is going to be until 10 o'clock this morning. As you can take a look at some of the fog that we are seeing, some of the visibility. The oranges are indicating about a half a mile or less. You can see out at the Eureka at Arcata, as a matter of fact, looking at the airport there's 0 mile visibility, and you can work your way down Highway 101. We are also seeing some of that. Taking a look right now, what it looks like in just north of Trinidad. This is in Elk Country. Beautiful spot there, as you can see there, but we also are looking at that fog along parts of the coast in not Trinity County, in Humboldt County. But take a look at this as we take you up to the north in Crescent City in Del Norte County. We're not seeing as much in the way of fog. You see a little patchy out there right now. The camera has yet to be adjusted, but it has kind of tilted on its, I think it was during that last wind event. But you can see it looks like a fishing boat off in the distance there, heading on out. Obviously not too concerned about that fog that we are seeing out in that area, but once again, we are seeing that visibility kind of dropping a bit here, especially to the south into parts of Humboldt County. So just bear that in mind as you are heading out the door this morning, and maybe give yourself a little bit of extra time on your morning commute, as you may run into some of that patchy, dense fog at times. Let's take a look at Krueger's Quickcast for your Monday, March 24th. Getting you out the door this morning as, of course, we saw the fog that we are seeing for parts of the north coast. Otherwise, we're seeing mainly sunny skies here this morning. Trinity County temperatures mid-40s by 8 o'clock this morning. For the valley, mid-50s. It's not getting very cold out there. One of the cooler spots is up in Modoc County, for example. Temperatures there are in the mid-30s. Right now, we're sitting at 60 degrees out at the Redding Airport, a bit cooler down to the south, 54 degrees in Chico, 53 degrees in Oroville, and we've got mainly in the 30s. As I mentioned, a little bit cooler up in El Turris right now at about 29 degrees. So you see the big ridge of high pressure that's in place. All the rain is over the Pacific Northwest. That's because the ridge of high pressure is diverting all the clouds and the rain up to our north, and we're left with mainly sunny skies, minus the fog that we are seeing on the coast. Let's take a look at Futurecast through the day today, and we'll probably see that fog burn off by the mid-morning hours for the coast, and looking at mainly sunny skies. Then we may see some afternoon convective cumulus clouds develop in the mountains. So in the valley, you'll see them off in the distance. If you're in the mountains, you'll see some of those clouds, but none of them are expected to produce any rain. That fog may return here for tonight and tomorrow morning for the coast, but otherwise clear skies for the rest of us. There's a look at your Mount Shasta Ski Park report here. You can see 117 inches out at the summit depth with variable conditions. Essentially, based on what I experienced yesterday, is in the morning, especially areas that are shaded from the sun, you kind of had that hard surface. Especially if it's groomed, it's actually pretty nice. Softer as you start getting those south-facing slopes that get it a little bit softer sooner. And then by the afternoon, once you have lunch and you go back out again, you're dealing with some pretty slushy conditions. And sometimes the brakes turn on by themselves due to those kind of, especially you start hitting some of the slushy powder. That can kind of turn on the brakes a little bit here. But beautiful conditions to start off the day at least. Road conditions are looking pretty good. They are clear on I-5 and on Highway 89. Let's take a look at your forecast for today. Temperatures in the low to mid-80s for your daytime highs in the valley. We're going to be looking at those temperatures of 70s for the higher elevations, although mainly in the mid to upper 60s and some low 70s. And for the coast, we've got temperatures in the low to mid 60s. And for tonight, I'm expecting temperatures once again to be on the mild side for the valley in particular, with the low to mid 50s there. Not as cold in the mountains, or excuse me, colder in the mountains, but still not that bad. In the mid to upper 30s and some low 40s, and looks like in the mid to upper 40s along the coast. All right, so there's your 7-day forecast. So what we got here are dry conditions. Still ironing out the details on the timing of the rain on Wednesday night into Thursday. But for now, it doesn't look like overall, very widespread rainfall coming in on Wednesday. And we'll take a closer look at that and even the potential for thunderstorms as we take you into Wednesday afternoon, especially out towards places like Siskiyou County, for example. 7-day outlook for the North Coast. We've got those temperatures staying in the low 60s, partly to mostly cloudy skies, some fog at times. Showers coming in late in the day Wednesday. That's also the case inland and even for Trinity County. And then much cooler with off and on showers coming in for Thursday into the weekend. There's your 7-day forecast for Siskiyou, Modoc County, and the eastern mountains, also mainly dry, maybe some showers, and can't even rule out a thunderstorm, by the way, for Wednesday afternoon. Again, we'll take a closer look at that here in your deeper dive forecast here in just a bit. But let's take a look at some of the cameras out there. This is out at Lake Oroville. Beautiful sunrise shot there. And you see this, the clear skies that we have out there this morning. Let's take you out to Lake Oroville, North Forebay. Looks like a little bit of fog kind of hovering over on top of the lake there. But overall, you're looking at the mainly clear skies out there this morning too. Taking a look at Main Street Chico, Highway 32. Looks like a morning commuter on his bike, wearing a helmet. Safety first, folks. Take a look at Highway 99 at Neal Road. Traffic looks to be flowing there. But you can see off the distance there, those clear skies that we have there as well. Hey, by the way, do want to, and this is a look at Sundial Bridge Drive on Highway 44, the exit of Sundial Bridge Drive. And looks like we've got the clear skies there as well. By the way, let's take a look again at the cameras out there in Trinidad, just north. This is actually just north of Trinidad. Some people argue that this is not Trinidad, but technically the owner of this Elk Creek Resort says that the post office has them labeled as the zip code for Trinidad. Interestingly enough, that's what we're dealing with there. But you can see the fog that we're seeing out there. But you head out to the north in Crescent City. Let's get that up going here. Head up to the north in Crescent City and you can see less in the way of fog. There's some patchy fog over the water there, and that could certainly be the case. But overall, most of the fog is in Humboldt County, working your way southward as well. This is kind of fun, and I wanted to show you this because this is Kenny Elwood. Some of you may know him, some of you may not. He is the owner of Elwood Ranch, which he just recently started and is really kind of taken off as a business. He's also the owner of Lassen Canyon Nursery. He was out at the Shasta County Farm Bureau annual dinner this past weekend. And he was awarded the 2025 Distinguished Service Award. This is basically for organizations and companies that really do make a difference in their community. And I think Kenny Elwood is a prime example of that. I've only known Kenny Elwood for really less than 2 years. In the time that I've got to know him, one of the things that I've really discovered is that he is very generous to those around him, and he's also very much into the community, making it a better place for everybody involved. So he really is well deserving of this award. So I want to congratulate Kenny Elwood for getting the 2025 Distinguished Service Award. So again, and of course, as you may or may not know, he is also a very big sponsor here at Weather NorCal. Without him, the NorCal Ag Report would not exist. So very nice, and I'm very excited for him and would like to congratulate him. Well, what do you say we get to our deeper dive forecast? As you know, we've got other sponsors too. Wind River Resort and Casino is the primary sponsor of Coffee with Krueger. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. Well, there you can see right now your temperatures are generally in the low 50s for most of us in the valley. We're at about 60 degrees for Redding, though. 53 degrees in Shingletown, 33 degrees in Bernie. You can see about 28 degrees for El Turris, 39 in Susanville, and we got 44 degrees in Crescent City, 49 degrees in Redway. So looking at our headlines, dry and warm start to the week. We're seeing that fog for the coast, hence that dense fog advisory. Back to more winter-like weather midweek. Cooler and wetter pattern starts Wednesday into Thursday, with that pattern continuing into next week as well. So looking at the satellite image, what we're seeing here is this ridge of high pressure. You see how the clouds are moving up and over that ridge of high pressure. See the arc in the clouds? That's the ridge. That's why we've got the mainly sunny skies out there. But there's a lot of activity out over the eastern Pacific, especially over the Gulf of Alaska. This here is cool and unsettled weather. This over us is that high pressure, sunny and warm conditions. This will be moving out, and this will be replacing it later on this week, probably sometime around Wednesday being the transition day, and then by Thursday, we've got more clouds and better chances for rain. The winds, I'm not expecting to be a concern here for today or even tomorrow, but as the storm system does approach on Wednesday, we're going to start to see those winds pick up by midday Wednesday and maybe even stronger by the second half of the day on Wednesday. So just be aware that the winds will be accompanying this change in our pattern as well. But looking at futurecast here, afternoon, puffy cumulus clouds, convective cumulus clouds here that we're going to see here for the afternoon. And then there you can see the mainly clear skies here for the coast. Now, I do think we'll see some of that fog developing once again later tonight and tomorrow morning for parts of the coast, in particular around Humboldt County and even more so for Humboldt Bay. But elsewhere, clear skies to start off the day on Tuesday. And we've got more of those afternoon cumulus clouds developing on Tuesday, but still another dry day in store for us. You can see as we go into Wednesday, though, this is where we start to see the transition. We're going to start to see more clouds, but still fairly dry. I think this might be overdoing it with showers there, but you can see even at 10 a.m., a few showers trying to develop here in eastern Siskiyou County. Is it out of the question? No, but the main energy is still off to our west. Now, as we go into midday, it looks fairly dry, but it looks like we are seeing the potential for thunderstorms developing in northern Shasta County and even parts of Siskiyou County, and a line of showers developing along the coast. So as you can see on Wednesday, we're just not seeing a lot of activity, but we can't rule out the potential for some thunderstorms, especially northern Shasta County and into Siskiyou County as well into the afternoon. Once this kind of pushes through, we're going to see a better chance for some more of that widespread rainfall coming in on Thursday, and then more of that unsettled weather pattern here. So there's next Thursday going into Friday. There you can see some of the showers kind of coming on in here. Snow levels probably somewhere between 4,500 and 5,000 feet. Taking you into Saturday, we'll actually see a very weak ridge of high pressure build in. So overall, it looks like everyone's going to see a break on Saturday, and then this energy is going to be moving in on Sunday, giving us another shot for some rain on Sunday. It looks like some decent rain coming in on Sunday. This model wants to bring us a break on Monday. However, the European forecast model does have us wet on Monday. But really, the overall thing I wanted to show you here is there's more activity possibly over the Pacific that will be impacting our weather in the form of off and on showers here through a good portion of next week. Now, as a result, the Climate Prediction Center has us in the darker shades of green. The darker the shade of green, the better the chances of seeing above normal rainfall. And looks like that is going to be the case. So, you hear the expression in like a lamb, out like a lion with the month of March. Looks like we're going out like a lion, and you got the drier conditions down to our south and east. So taking a look at our lake levels here, we're really not seeing much change here. We haven't seen much rain, so we're not going to really see them rise much. In fact, if anything, we've seen them drop a little bit for Lake Shasta and even Lake Oroville, but Trinity Lake has seen a minor increase, most likely due to maybe a little bit of snowmelt coming in there as well. Otherwise, the capacity is about 85%, give or take, for Shasta, Trinity, and Oroville, and you can see the historical average is still well over 100%. Now, the temperatures, as you know, we're experiencing some very warm temperatures for this time of the year, as much as 15 to even 20 degrees above normal today and even into tomorrow. Long range has us in that nearer normal category here coming in from the Climate Prediction Center. I'd be willing to guess, though, that later today into tomorrow, we'll start to see some blues in here. And the reason being, of course, we see that warm temperatures that we are seeing right now and the next couple of days. Wednesday, the transition day, but after that, I'm expecting to see our temperatures drop below normal. The average high is somewhere in the upper 60s for the Redding area, for example. So I do anticipate we're going to drop below that as we go into the end of next week, end of this week, that is, this weekend, and going into next week. Now let's take a look at your wave heights for today and tomorrow. Not much change, is there? That's good news, especially if you do need to be on a small boat and do some fishing, because we're looking at your marine forecast. Yeah, the winds are from the north at 5 to 10 knots, nothing big. Waves from the northwest at 6 feet at 13 seconds, and no advisories. Very good news there. Taking a look at your forecast for your Trinity County neighborhood forecast, we've got those temperatures in the upper 70s to even around 80, low 80s for some of those warmer spots here. I do expect dry conditions for today and tomorrow. That's across the board. There may be some showers late in the day Wednesday into Wednesday night. Better chances coming in by Thursday into Friday. Temperatures for the southern end of Trinity County and mainly in the 70s there as well. Take a look at the North Coast neighborhood forecast. Southern Humboldt County, about 81 degrees out towards Garberville and Redway. 75 degrees in Honeydew. We take out to Ferndale, 64. 66 for Rio Dell. Hydesville, about 66. And 65 degrees in Fortuna. Let's take you up north. Looks like Blue Lake, about 68 degrees today. Beautiful weather. Right on the upper 70s to low 80s for many of you in the inland areas. And looks like in the low to even some mid 60s for some of you along the coast. Smith River, about 69. 61 degrees for Crescent City. And 62 degrees in Oric. There's a look at your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast along Highway 96 here. Temperatures mid to upper 70s, the I-5 corridor, upper 60s, even some low 70s in there. For Scott Valley today, look for a high of 67 in Greenview, Callahan 67, and Fort Jones about 70. Let's take you out to central and eastern Siskiyou County where we've got 65 in Weed, 70 for Mount Shasta City. Yes, 70. Beautiful weather there. 72 degrees for Dunsmuir and 65 degrees in Doris. Here's a look at your Modoc County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures here should generally be in the mid to upper 60s. I'm expecting about 64 degrees in Cedarville and Fort Bidwell, about 66 degrees. Your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, we got those temperatures 60s and even some 70s for your daytime highs. Out towards Paynes Creek, about 77, 70 in Hat Creek, and Beaver, a high of about 69 degrees. All right, let's take you out to Lake Almanor and Lassen Park. You got those temperatures mainly in the upper 60s around the lake, although Chester, you could get up to 70 degrees under mainly sunny skies here for today. Let's take you down to the south where Paradise, you'll see a high of 75 degrees today, 73 in Susanville, and about 72 degrees in Doyle. And your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by Walgamith Painting. Your temperature should generally be in the low 80s for Los Molinos southward, maybe even some upper 70s for Biggs, Oroville, and Gridley. Looking at your 7-day outlook, starting off with Chico. You can see the temperatures in the mid-70s by Wednesday. As I mentioned, Wednesday is the transition day. I think we're going to be mainly dry, but if you see a stray sprinkle or light shower Wednesday afternoon, don't be surprised, but for now, I'm going to keep it dry. Better chances for those showers coming in Thursday, Friday, and looks like some heavier rainfall possibly coming in by Sunday. Taking a look at your Valley neighborhood forecast to the north, 80 degrees for Lakehead, 79 for Whiskeytown, 85 for the city of Shasta Lake down to Anderson, and about 84 degrees in Cottonwood. We look at your 7-day forecast for Reading. We got those mid-80s today and tomorrow, and some of you could be flirting with the upper 80s for those daytime highs. So what we've got here is about 62 degrees on Thursday. So Wednesday, as I mentioned, is that transition day where we've got temperatures dropping down about 10 degrees, but still fairly dry. Then on Thursday, we've got more rain in the forecast, continuing possibly on Friday. Saturday, at this point, looking fairly dry with yet another chance for some showers on Sunday in the forecast too. So yeah, I mean, certainly some things to kind of look at here when you're looking at that 7-day forecast here. Taking a look at some of those beautiful images coming in from Lake Oroville right here. Let's take you to a full screen here and take a look at what some of you have got going on this morning. Let's see here. We got Curtis Brown, one of our regulars, checking in this morning. He is saying, good morning. Here we go again. Recorded a high of 82 degrees yesterday. Big change. Absolutely looking at those warmer temperatures. Thank you, Curtis, for that report. We've got Ruth Sanchez. Good morning, everybody. It's been a beautiful day. It has so far, and it will be another beautiful day out there for today. Naturally, we're headed to Crescent City next Sunday, not this week. Hopefully, it's not too bad there. When you say next Sunday, are you talking about this upcoming Sunday or a week from Sunday? Because if it's this Sunday, yes, you'll be dealing with that wet weather. But if it's the week after that, I couldn't tell you for sure 100% at that point. And really, even Sunday is not 100%. Things can change here. We've got Mark Olson saying, good morning. Like the warm weather, have a great day. You too, Mark. Hope you have yourselves a great day. We've got Anthony Platts saying, we can't get sun Wednesday. Forecast for Crescent City. Wednesday. I think he might get, well, you're getting it now. Wednesday, I think you'll still see some sun, maybe the first half of the day, but clouds will be on the increase on Wednesday. And then we've got Esther saying foggy as heck in Eureka. But we just had 2 gorgeous afternoons the last few days, so it really feels like spring is here. Yeah, and you're dealing with that fog right now. That's why we've got that dense fog advisory for, it does include Eureka, by the way. So you're dealing with that dense fog out there. There's a dense fog advisory for basically Eureka down the coast. Even about into northern Humboldt County, where we do have some fog, even in the Trinidad area, north of that too. But Crescent City, not so much. In fact, let's take a look at some of the cameras out there. This is looking out at, this is Elk Country north of Trinidad. You can clearly see that there is some fog there, and it looks pretty dense too. This is why there is that dense fog advisory in the area. However, as you take a look at Crescent City, it's a bit of a different story. You can see that we do have really just some patchy fog over the ocean waters there, but overall you're looking at clear sunny skies to start off the day here. But you go elsewhere, you're looking at clear skies really across the region here. Let's take a look at some other cameras out there. Let's get this out of here, get that out of there. And you're looking at Lake Oroville. And while we do that, we'll go ahead and, next Sunday through Wednesday. So Sunday through Wednesday of next week. Yeah, I think you'll be dealing with some wet weather when you go up there, Anthony. As much as I hate to say it, but, not a complete washout, I guess. But yes, as we take a look at the Lake Oroville camera here, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show here and take a look at some other cameras around the region, get you out the door this morning. Have yourselves a great Monday. Enjoy this beautiful spring weather. Temperatures as much as 15, even 20 degrees above normal in the valley. You might want to start thinking about making sure that you're hydrated if you have to do any outdoor activities, because it's going to be a little bit warmer than you've been experiencing. So make sure you've got water with you, make sure you've got the sunscreen, and you'll be good to go. In the meantime, have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning right here on Coffee with Krueger at 7 a.m. Have a great day.